I love jogging because it keeps me fit, and as an ambassador, it is actually a mental process. I do a mental cleansing that you go through when you jog. So in your day to cleanse out every thought of work, and then you can come back refreshed and full of energy. Botanical garden with great views over the Dnieper, over the golden cupolas of monasteries, with changing times of the year where you can enjoy running both winter and summer and spring and autumn. So I really love this botanical garden. Depth and resilience of the Ukrainian people. Cliches connected to laziness or to, I'm also impressed with the ambitions of the Ukrainian political leadership. I can assure you that Ukraine is very high on the Danish political agenda, and we had even the first ever Danish Prime Minister visit to Ukraine in spring this year, and we have had a large number of exchanges between our foreign ministers, deputy ministers, Speaker of Parliament has been here. All sorts of political and public actors have visited each other. So it has really been full. But also, I must say, the diplomatic year is not only about high-level visits. Of course, it's what happens between the visits. And I am quite proud to say that I feel that we pay particular attention to building relations between businesses and between people. I have been observing and working in this part with the mother and the father and 3 children. We all ride bikes. I had a better understanding than many Danes and many Westerners have. But it is true that there are some cliches among Westerners when it comes to Ukraine. One is that it shows to the Western audience that Ukraine may be a young state, but it is an old and proud nation that is ready to defend itself. At the same time, this conflict has an impact on the image that I try to nuance when I talk to the Danish audience, because it's not affected by armed conflict. It is a country in transition. It is a dynamic country. It is a country in the middle of large changes and reforms, which, by the way, are equally important to the success of Ukrainian independence as the armed struggle in the east. Some 300 Danish companies are actively working in Ukraine, and I haven't heard of one single company who has left Ukraine despite the hardships of the past couple of years. And, when it comes to Danish companies, Danish technologies, Danish know-how, Danish intelligent solutions, we see mostly within the agricultural and food sector. Danish pig farms are among the top 5 producers in Ukraine. Huge, large investments in the agricultural sector. And we have Danfoss thermostats and Grundfos pumps that all contribute to energy efficient and green energy solutions. When we look at agricultural investments, it's mostly in the center and the western part of Ukraine. But if you look at wind parks, which are wind farms, you find very, very good potential. We have lots of ongoing projects and huge investments. We have also allocated Danish state investment funds. Well, the Danish position is very clear. The Russian aggression against Ukraine and energy efficiency sector. I don't know whether it's known to Ukrainians, but sovereignty and territorial integrity, but also fundamental norms and principles of our European security and of international relations. So it's entirely unacceptable, and Denmark has not and will not in any way recognize the illegal annexation of Crimea, and we fully support the Minsk process, the implementation of the Minsk process, including the withdrawal of all foreign troops from Ukrainian territory. And yes, we support sanctions against Russia until these conditions are met. The conditions for a successful, independent Ukrainian state, intelligent solutions, but it is the only way of the precondition for such a successful Ukraine. The other part is actually the success of the reforms, of the transition, of the transformation of the political system. There are actually many Ukrainians living in Denmark, almost 10,000 by the latest numbers, and that number has doubled within the past less than 10 years. Many of these Ukrainians are actually students of Ukrainian agricultural educational institutions who go on an internship in Denmark, efficient ways of farming, of green, ecological ways of farming, and bring that back feed it into the Ukrainian agricultural potential. So they contribute to our economy, and they, I think, contribute to yours. You don't need to show off. We do not like, even rich people in Denmark do not like to show off their wealth. And we try to build a society in this way. So the public school system is actually a very, very cherished pearl in our welfare society, where we build ties between kings and beggars. So, for example, the grandson of the Queen is going in a normal Danish school. So, and we love actually our royal house, our Queen Margrethe II, who is still reigning, and she turned 70 years ago, and she is still reigning, and she's still bright, and she speaks to the population every New Year's Eve. But of course, it's a constitutional monarchy, so she has no political power whatsoever. But we take pride in it, and it binds the Danish nation together. And it's not only Denmark; it includes also Greenland and the Faroe Islands, which are integrated parts of our kingdom. There's a very high level of voluntarism. Both Danes and Ukrainians engage in voluntary civil activities. So they form associations, or they form groups that actually contribute to society. For example, young Ukrainians that I've met that at their own initiative volunteers to go to the front, either as soldiers but also as paramedics, as helpers. One part of the Danish society which is very, very distinct also, and our own explanation why Denmark is repeatedly ranked the happiest people in the world, as you know, this kind of social instinct, social feeling, the coherence in society. Well, the Vikings, although they are known as to be warriors, they were actually traders, and very eager to establish links with new people, new trading stations, and so on. So this is the part of the Viking tradition that we want to continue today. Just as you had your Nestor's chronicle mentioning the Vikings from the north, we actually have our own, except for Mr. Kurkov, and so I still have, and it mentions you. So it was written in about the same time as Nestor's chronicle. So you see these links are not only one way; they go both ways. There was a diplomatic representation established in Copenhagen in 1919. It didn't live for that long. Everybody knows that this period in time after the Russian Revolution was a very complex. Kingdom of Denmark had established relationship to the Ukrainian nation for already at that time, but the quality of the diplomatic relations today differ significantly. They are of a much higher quality today. I think I can say that.